guys, so we have an urgent information coming out. The US president says the United States will begin arresting Venezuelan drug traffickers by land very soon. The Republican discussed the next step following the extrajudicial takeout in the Caribbean. We warned them, stop sending poison to our country. Wow. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Once again, it seems like they're not going to be taking out vessels. They're going to be arresting these individuals. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and a PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. So this is going to be the first time ever that instead of taking out the vessels, they're going to follow them and they're going to arrest them. And I did mention this back in September. I mentioned that instead of shooting these vessels, follow them and just cuff them and just, tell the world this is the reason why we are taking out these vessels. Look at all the product they are bringing into our country. The U.S. commander took advantage of a Thanksgiving video teleconference on Thursday with members of the armed forces to further intensify his rhetoric amid the growing military and verbal confrontation with Venezuela. Now, the U.S. commander threatened to begin detaining these vessels by land very soon, continuing what he sees as a successful campaign in which the U.S. military has carried out extrajudicial takeout in the Caribbean waters. The land is easier, he said. We warned them. Stop sending poison to our country, he added, referring to these gang for which he blames Nicholas' regime. Now, for those of you that don't know, and I know many of you have seen the video, thousands of our citizens, thousands of Sleeping Giant citizens are being taken out by these products that's coming from that land. Now, these products are very powerful drugs, very powerful. Many people are getting addicted to them, and most of them are like teens and early 20s. And there are videos on social media that show these people taking these products, and they look like zombies. They look like zombies. They lean forward, and it looks like they're about to fall, but again, it's just the balance. But they're just on that product, and it's very concerning. So they bring in those products, and it's poisoning the Sleeping Giant citizens. That's the reason why Donald is putting a stop to it. It says here, since September 2nd, as part of an operation, the Washington retroactively named Southern Spear. The United States has bombed at least 21 vessels and taken at least 83, mostly in the Caribbean waters and near the Venezuelan coast. Beyond videos showing those alleged boats being taken out, U.S. authorities have provided no evidence in any of those strikes that the targets were involved in the activities, nor have they provided info on the identities of those taken out. But again, there are videos that show all these containers, and inside those containers supposedly are the product that they're trying to bring in, which they've been doing for the past couple of decades. Long weekend. Of course, there aren't too many drugs coming in by sea anymore. People aren't wanting to be delivering by sea. It will be starting to stop them by land also, the U.S. president explained during the video conference with U.S. service members, which he joined from his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, where he had traveled to spend the long Thanksgiving weekend. And you guys already know there's a whole bunch of tunnels out there in the southern border. A lot of them is like El Paso, Texas, and California, and I believe Arizona too. So they found a whole bunch of tunnels, and they bringing their stuff through that tunnel. The sleeping giant leader accuses Nicholas of Venezuela of being involved in this operation that has caused the worst drug crisis in the country's history, largely due to fentanyl, even though it is proven that this powerful product arrived in the U.S. from Mexico, and to a lesser extent from the Red Dragon, and not through the now militarized Caribbean route. So they're basically saying that it's not coming from Venezuela. This thing is coming from other countries like Mexico. Now, a lot of people believe that Donald is using the excuse of drug operation from Venezuela. A lot of people believe that that's just lame excuse, that Donald is there because he wants to take Venezuelan oil. There's a possibility, guys. At the very end, it's all about the oil. It says here, behind that pretext, Washington analysts identify another strategy: increasing pressure on Nicholas Gov and ultimately forcing regime change. The naval deployment in the Caribbean began in late August and has grown since. The addition of the USS Gerald Ford, the U.S. Navy's largest aircraft carrier, marked a turning point in operation against those alleged boats a couple of weeks ago. What's more, since last Monday, the State Department has officially classified the so-called gangs, I'm going to skip their names, as T organization. Let me just highlight it. As T organization. The gangs is a loosely defined criminal network that the U.S. alleges is run by Nicholas. In the summer, U.S. authority also doubled the reward for Nicholas to $50 million. Now, guys, I did post a video. The New York Times just dropped a bombshell report today that Donald spoke with Nicholas last week or last weekend. Yeah, that was a few days ago. Supposedly they spoke over the phone, and information is coming out. There's a possibility that Nicholas might come to the U.S., which I doubt. I don't think he's coming to the U.S. If that's the case, they're gonna cuff him, and it'd be game over for him. Parallel to the military escalation, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief has issued messages this week hinting at the possibility of negotiation between the White House and Nicholas. The president suggested he would be willing to speak with the Venezuelan leader to save lives, but added that if things don't go the easy way, he will have no problem achieving his goal the hard way. It is still unclear whether such a conversation between the two leaders will take place, and even less clarity about when it could happen. The idea that the U.S. commander is open to talk indicates that the U.S. president may be reconsidering a military intervention in Venezuela despite pressure from part of his cabinet, with Secretary of State Rubio at the forefront. Both his most loyal base, the MAGA movement, and the U.S. public opinion oppose the idea of a foreign intervention. Recent polls show that 70% of respondents will now look favorably on a military adventure in the Caribbean. Okay, so it seems like many Americans is not down with this. But I want to ask you guys, just leave comments down below. How do we stop these products from coming into our country? Up to 50 or 80,000 of our citizens, sleeping giant citizens, are passing away from overdose every year from this product that's coming into our sleeping giant country. How do you stop it? By going to war and taking out the the leader of the gang, I mean, what do you do? I mean, how do you stop this massive flow of these product pouring into our sleeping giant country? Many sleeping giant citizens are against war, but how do you stop it? How do you save the lives of teens, the young ones, and those in their 20s? Many of them gone from overdose. How do you do it? How do you stop this? It says here, and by the way, if nothing is done, these powerful organizations, these gangs, are getting stronger and stronger, and basically taking territory here in our sleeping giant country. It says here the idea that, okay, I read that part. It says here, for his part, Nicholas has shown ambivalent behavior in recent weeks. At least in public, the Venezuelan leader alternates between railing against U.S. warnings with calls for civilians to mobilize in defense of the Caribbean nation's sovereignty and making appeals for peace and harmony, complete with songs and dances if necessary. All right. So again, it seems like the clock is ticking for Nicholas. Give me a second here, guys. Okay, I want to bring this up and pay very close attention to this here. In 2023, there were 72,776 overdose in a sleeping giant involving, I'm going to highlight it. That's coming from the Caribbean area. That's coming from the South, in our backyard. And it's coming in here in the sleeping giant. 72,000 sleeping giant citizens. And this is in the year 2023. Now, they're estimating 50 up to 90,000 a year gone in our beloved sleeping giant land. In other words, sleeping giant is under attack. It's just a sleeping giant don't know it. They're not paying attention. Only a few are. Now, in the year 2024, it seems like the number went down a little bit because it seems like things are just, Donald came in 2025, but things started kind of easing down. According to, I'm going to skip that name, the CD, who, there were an estimated 48,000, almost 50,000 in 2024 involving the product that's coming into our sleeping giant country. All right, so you guys get the picture. Under 2022, in the year 2022, almost 74,000. You guys get the picture? Under 2021, 71,000. You see that? Are you paying attention now? 71,000. Sleeping giant gone. What about 2020? 56,000. This is a lot of sleeping giant citizens being taken out every year. Every year. This ain't no 5,000 or 10,000. What about 2025? The number of sleeping giant citizens who pass in 2025 is a dynamic figure with a recent report, national decline in overall. However, final official statistics for the entire year are not yet available. So it seems like the numbers are going more down And the reason why 2025 is more down, because Donald sealed the border, the southern region, and he's taking out those vessels out in the Caribbean. Are people paying attention now? Supposedly, in 12-month period ending in January of 2025, suggested approximately 82,000 gone. Now remember, Donald came in January 20th, 2025. All this before Donald, it was under Joe. Joe allowed the doors to be open, and the sudden millions poured in, and a lot of stuff came in. You see this 2024, 2023, all these years. This is all Joe. 72,000, 83,000, 82,000. All that was under Joe. So what should Donald do? Should Donald strike Venezuela and take out whatever the lead, again, the leader of the gang? I mean, what should Donald do? Many Americans are saying that it's not the right choice. So what is the right choice? What should Donald do to stop the this trending of thousands of our sleeping giant citizens passing away from these products? What should Donald do? Leave comments down below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the videos I posted today. All the links will be in the comments box. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.